All right, and we are back. This is NHL 20 Franchise Mode Calgary Flames. This is episode number 49. Yes, welcome back to our Franchise Mode here at the Calgary Flames, and welcome in to the 49th episode and one of our final episodes here of Franchise Mode NHL 20 with the Calgary Flames as we get set here to sim right up to the Stanley Cup playoffs and hopefully make the Stanley Cup playoffs. You can see we are sitting in third place in our division, 71 points through 62 games there for the Calgary Flames. And it hasn't always been this way. If you're just tuning into this season, you might think, oh, well, we're defending Stanley Cup champions. We're top in our division. Not really. Up until the last episode, we were one of the worst teams in the entire National Hockey League all season long. And we just wanted an absolute tear to turn our season around. And it actually started in 2 episodes ago when we made a massive trade right before the new year. So let's go into that quickly, and then we'll get into what we did here in the last episode, which included the trade deadline. This episode, we're going to get into, obviously, simming, like I said, right up to the Stanley Cup playoffs. But, yeah, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you where we were December 31. Where are we here? I don't even know what month we're in. Excuse me. December 31, right about around here. Let's go here. Arizona, Winnipeg. Winnipeg was our last game on New Year's Eve there, December 31st of last year. We were about, I want to say we were about 30th in the NHL. So second worst. We were dead last in our division, where we had been all season long. It had been a horrible start for the Calgary Flames, if you will, in the first October, November, December, the first 3 months. So we were forced to make a massive trade, and we did. Right around here, we traded our number one goalie, our Vezina Trophy winning goalie from a couple of years ago, a guy that could have easily won the Conn Smythe Trophy for us last year, one of our MVPs, in Jordan Binnington. We traded him to the Washington Capitals and brought back Braden Holtby, a much older goalie, but a goalie that was rated higher than Binnington at 89, whereas Binnington was an 85. We did a massive trade there to bring in a number one goalie, or a new look number one goalie, as we obviously had to turn things around, because the biggest problem for us wasn't, we were having problems everywhere, but our biggest problem was goals against. We were dead last in goals against. We were dead last in PK. We were bottom 10, bottom 15 in goals for, and bottom 10, bottom 15 in power play. But it was definitely the goals against, and Binnington was struggling, as was our backup in Alec Netrovic. He was struggling as well. So we had both goalies struggling, which obviously wasn't a recipe for success at all. So we had to make that trade with Braden Holtby, bringing him in for Jordan Binnington. All right, I'm just looking here at some stuff. All right, so from there, we went on here into the new year of 2025, with our new goalie in Braden Holtby, and we played the months of January and February. We got up here to the trade deadline. Take a look at these numbers. In the month of January here, we went 8-1-1. That is a completely different storyline from the way our season was going. Like I said, we were pretty much dead last in our division. We went 8-1-1 in this month of January. That is incredible. We followed it up by going 7-3-2 here in the month of February as well, to just continue to roll and stay red hot, and that got us all the way up here to where we are today on the 26th, or 25th, 26th roughly of this month of February, where we are now third in our division. So 2 really good months just turned our season around, and it's all thanks to bringing in a new number one goalie in Braden Holtby. But the bigger storyline of the last episode and of those past 2 months was actually not our goaltending, because Holtby played all right for us. It was actually our offense. Our offense just went lights out in the last couple months, and just scored at an unbelievable rate. You can see right now, we're just looking at some of our top players. McKinnon there with 82 points through 62 games. Gaudreau is up to 68 points in 62 games. 59 there for Tkachuk, 54 for Sean Monahan. But the reason being is, first I'm going to show you the goaltending here in Braden Holtby and how he's done with us in his 2 months since joining the Flames. So here's Braden Holtby. This is his season stats. So let's just go into here, so we can look at just his stats from this year. All right, so he's played 22 games with us since coming over. He's gone 9-1-6, 2-4-5 goals against. That is massive improvement, because Binnington wasn't even getting close to the 900 save percentage all season when he was with us. So in the 22 games that Holtby has come over, he's posting pretty decent numbers. Not the best numbers, but pretty decent numbers, at least numbers from a starting goalie of a 35 years old, and a starting goaltender in Braden Holtby, who came back home. Again, 89 overall, not bad there. But the bigger storyline, like I said, was actually not Holtby. Holtby gave us some stability in net, which we desperately needed, and he's been playing decent. But it's actually been our offense. So what we also did when we acquired Braden Holtby is we changed up our lines, and the biggest thing we did here is we moved Matthew Tkachuk to this top line from the second line and putting down Alex Ovechkin. And when we did that, it gave us a +5 rating there. You can see in line chemistry. And I didn't really know if line chemistry had that much of effect in the game, but clearly it does, because as soon as these three were put together, Johnny Gaudreau, Nathan MacKinnon, and Matthew Tkachuk, they absolutely went lights out, in the last episode. Scoring and putting up points at an unbelievable rate. Like, how many games in the last episode was Gaudreau, Monahan, and Tkachuk having 2-point nights, 3-point nights, 4-point nights, hat tricks, left, right, and center? Like, I couldn't believe it. This top line has just taken over. They're probably the best top line currently in the NHL, and it's all because we just threw Tkachuk on that right side. He was on this left side of the second line. We dropped Ovechkin down, and then this second line actually gave us some good stability as well behind this top line. They've been producing pretty well as well. Dylan Dubé, Sean Monahan, Alex Ovechkin, still a really elite second line. It's just this top six we just had to tweak with the line combinations, but as soon as we got it right there at the beginning of the last episode, I couldn't believe how much it took off. And then even our depth, we've seen some depth come through for us. Again, we don't have the best bottom six, but it's not bad in terms of depth, so we've been getting a little bit of depth out of them as well. Defense is where we still struggled, so we went and made some trades. So the first trade we did at the end of the last episode, trade deadline, I'm going to go through this really quickly here, is we gave Braden Holtby a little bit of insurance. Like I said, Holtby's been playing good through 22 games for us, but I wanted to give him just a little bit of help. So what we did is we went out and got ourselves a legit backup goalie. Because again, we had Alec Netrovic, who we couldn't even trust all season long. Every time Binnington was struggling, I threw him in the net, and he just struggled even more. I think his goals against were something like 4 points, something like it was really, really bad with us. He was just having a horrible season. We picked him up kind of cheaply in the free agent, this being Alex Netrovic, and he just didn't pan out for us. So what we did is we made a trade with the San Jose Sharks to acquire this guy right here, Ilya Samsonov, who, funny enough, is a former Washington Capital as well as Braden Holtby. So we have a former Washington goalie duo in net. But Ilya Samsonov, obviously, coming in, he's 83 overall, 28 years of age. He's listed as a starting goalie, and he was actually San Jose's starting goalie this year. But I see him more as a backup at 83, but he's a really, really good backup. I mean, he could easily be borderline starter. So we really gave ourselves one of the best backups in the entire NHL. Again, if you watch the last episode, you know how bad the goalie market was this year in the league in terms of just decent goalies overall. There's not a lot of them, and now we have two pretty good goalies. We got a starter in Braden Holtby and a pretty decent backup here in Ilya Samsonov. So these are his numbers through 52 games in San Jose this season: 913, 285 goals against, and again, he's listed as a starter. We did have to trade Alec Netrovic. We had to trade a 4th-round pick. Now, we did have 2 4th-round picks in the upcoming draft, so we traded one of those, and we traded a C-level prospect in the deal as well. We got back Samsonov and a roster player to make the trade go through. So it was a 5-piece trade altogether. But again, the pieces was really Netrovic for Samsonov with a C-level prospect in there. We took back a roster player for the AHL, and we also gave them a 4th-round pick. So not a bad trade to get a decent backup. Again, we need the depth here in the goaltending department if we want to go on a long run. But we also needed it on the blue line. We addressed the goalies. Our offense was fine, but we wanted to get a little bit more help defensively when it came to our defense, because our defense has just been struggling. We didn't have Noah Hanifin this year, which really hurt our defensive core. We saw a massive drop-off this year, but we needed to go in and get a piece. So what we did here is we just went and got a minor piece from the Edmonton Oilers. We went and acquired Patrick Nemeth. We traded away our third pairing defenseman. Again, another guy we just got cheaply in free agency in Neil Pionk. We also had to trade away another C to B level prospect with Neil Pionk to bring over Patrick Nemeth to really help the trade go through. Not much of a difference between Pionk and Nemeth in overall, but what we did notice in Patrick Nemeth, the reason we got him is because he was listed as a guy that can play on your second pairing, even though he's 80 overall, but most importantly, number 1 PK unit and number 1 5-on-3 PK unit. That's why we went and got this guy. So we mainly got him for our special teams, for our PK that struggled, still dead last in the entire NHL throughout the entire season. It's definitely been struggling, but we needed to go get a defensive guy down here. I was even thinking of trading away Shillington to the same team, to the Oilers, to bring in another guy that they had who's a really good defensive PK guy in Jonas Siegenthaler. But then I looked at our line combination, or our line chemistry here, once we put Patrick Nemeth in our lineup, and for the first time all season, we have Green in the line chemistry there on the right side. +1, +1, +1 there for all 3 pairings. So I think we're going to keep it that way. I don't want to mess with the line chemistry anymore, but it was definitely important here to bring in Patrick Nemeth, a guy that can definitely help us on the PK. So let's go quickly. Again, our power play absolutely took off when our offense took off. It shot from, like I said, a bottom 10 spot all the way up to one of the top power play units in the NHL, but our PK has still struggled. And for some reason, when you look at the line fit now on the far right side, Patrick Nemeth fits, but every other player here does not fit, which is absolute bullshit because these are our best players. These are our best defensive players. We've tweaked our PK all year long. We've tried bringing in different players on our roster, but at the end of the day, I mean, McKinnon and Monahan are your 2 best defensive forwards on your team, and probably 2 of the best defensive forwards in the NHL. Josh Manson was and still is your best defenseman, on the team still at 84 overall, playing in your top 4. He is a defensive defenseman. He's a defensive specialist, and yet you're telling me he doesn't fit anywhere in your PK? It's absolute bullshit, the way that they've got these line chemistries and line fits going. I haven't started up NHL 21 yet, but I hope it's kind of fixed a little bit, because the fact that Patrick Nemeth is the only guy that fits on our entire PK, like, what the hell? Like, who else are we supposed to put on our PK? So, I don't know. We've tried tweaking with it. Hopefully Patrick Nemeth is enough to help our PK kind of improve. We're continuing just to switch these lineups. For the first time, our line chemistry is neutral on the right side there. So, I mean, maybe that's a plus thing. Again, I'm not expecting our PK to drastically improve this season. I think it's going to be a weak spot for us for the remainder of the season and into the playoffs. But hey, I mean, we did our best here to try and help it. We're continuing to, like I said, switch our lineups, and then brought in a defensive specialist, a guy that they said can play on our top PK unit. So that's exactly where I got him, even though he's 80 overall. That's where he fits, and he fits also on our 5-on-3 on our top unit as well. So I put him there as well. Again, there's nothing we can do about these, the rest of this. These are our best players. I don't want anybody else out there because we just don't have guys that with good defensive stats or even good overalls to put on our PK. We are not a defensive-based team. Clearly, we are an offensive-based team, and so that was our biggest. That's what hurt us the most this season. So, anyways, with that, that's a little bit of a way to start off this episode, if you will. I'll look at what we did in the last couple episodes, and I'll look at how we've turned our season around, because we have drastically turned our season around. If you've been watching this season, which is our last season, by the way, it's good. It's good to see that we've turned it around, and we are now back to top 3 in our division. But again, our division is tight. Look at our division there. 71 points is where we sit. The bottom team is the Coyotes at 63 points. A little bit of separation, but not even 10-point separation between us and the last place team. And then there's the Ducks at 76, and they're just 13 points separation between first and last in our division. So it's another logjam division, and with lots of time left in the season, these standings definitely could drastically change. So we want to make sure whatever we're doing, we're staying in the top 3, because also our division has not held the wild card spots at all this season, which is a little weird. So we have the weaker division of the 2 Western Conference divisions. So we want to make sure we're obviously in a top 3 position. We don't want to rely on being a wild card team. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Like I said, we want to sim the rest of the season in this episode, and then get ourselves right up to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Shall we make it in what is our final season? So let's get going here against the Philadelphia Flyers. We're on a bit of a winning streak too, right before the trade deadline. We're going to finish our trade deadline with just the 2 minor moves. Again, we made our big move getting Braden Holtby at the end of the new year, and we made some minor moves here at the trade deadline, bringing in a backup in Elias Samsonov and a defensive defenseman and a PK specialist in Patrick Nemeth. 2 areas that we definitely need addressed. Our offense is fine. Let's keep going here against the Philadelphia Flyers here on what is technically the trade deadline day. But we will play here. So a couple of final trades coming in. Columbus acquiring a few players there, Tatar Vatanen, and the San Jose Sharks getting back probably some prospects. Sharks probably in full rebuild mode, which is nice to see in our division, of course. All right, let's keep it going here. So we got the Flyers here, so let's sim. And like I said, we're just going to sim the rest of the season here. Hopefully we can continue rolling. We are red hot coming into this episode. Let's see if we can stay hot. All right, here we go. First period, it's 2-2. We get goals from Zarnik and Bennett. Second period, 3-3. Goals from Monahan and Morgan Frost. We are going to overtime. Third period. Third period, and we win it on a goal by Jordan Eberle. So we'll take it in regulation 4-3, and we continue our win streak. So that's what you want to see. All right, good night there for that third line. And Braden Holtby, 8-3-3. They do take him out of this game, though. Looks like 32 minutes in. I wonder if they pull him because of probably because of his goals against right there, 5-5-3. All right, so that's fair. They pull Brain Holtby. They bring in Ilya Samsonov to make his Calgary Flames debut, and he shuts out the door, or shuts the door the rest of the way there. Just 9 saves through 27 minutes, but good enough to shut the door there for us. So Samsonov gets his first taste of action as a Calgary Flame. All right, let's keep going here against Chicago. Again, we're on a bit of a 4 or 5 game winning streak, something like that right now, which is huge. We're stringing together wins when it matters the most right now this time of year. Huge grind here for the end of the season. All right, first period 2-2. We get goals from Gaudreau and McKinnon. Second period 3-3. We get a goal from Claude Giroux. They get one from DeBrincat. Third period, do we win this one? Come on, Flames. Yeah, we do. Another 4-3 win for the Flames. This time it's Rasmus Andersson playing hero in the third period, and we will take back-to-back wins there by a 1-goal difference in the third period. All right, huge night for Rasmus Andersson, 3-point night there, 2-point night for Gaudreau, and Monahan with a point there as well. 903 for Brain Holtby, over 900 there. Again, he's getting the job done. I mean, he's not putting out lights out Vezina Trophy type of numbers, but again, he's 35 years of age. All we did was bring him in to help us win, and he is doing that. Over a 900 save percentage. I'm obviously satisfied with that. But the most important thing is as long as we are getting these wins. All right, let's keep it rolling here against St. Louis. Let me take a drink here. All right, we'll win this game 4-2. 2 goals from McKinnon in this one against the Blues. And we are rolling. And a 938 save percentage there for Brain Holtby. So another good night there for Holtby. And we'll get Samsonov into a game here eventually. I just want to roll with Holtby right now. But like I said, we have the luxury now of kind of almost like a tandem. Holtby's still our #1 goalie, but we have a really decent backup goalie, like I said, who was a starter in San Jose all season long. Put up decent numbers as well. So here we go. Buffalo, Calgary. 3-1 for us, Ovechkin, Giroux, and Eberle. 4-2 for us, Kachuk. And we will finish this one 6-2, Monahan and Kachuk again. It's just a testament to how good our offense has been coming into this episode. They are just every night. It's different lines. It's different guys. This night it was more of our second line. Monahan 3 points. Even Giroux on the third line. McKinnon on the top line. Ovechkin on the second line. Kachuk on the second line. So you can see Eberle there in the third line. Bennett on the third line. So you can see all 3 lines there going for us. Our top 3 lines. 913 here for Holtby. So, I mean, our offense is just, I don't know where it came from. Finally. Like, we put together one of the most lethal offenses on paper in probably a long time, and it just wasn't working for us all season long until we hit about the halfway point, which is weird. It took half a season for all of our lines to click and everything to get going offensively, which is very rare. All right, we're still on a win streak here. Let's keep going against Mini. We got to be close to a 10-game winner. Win streak, excuse me. And as I say that, we're going to lose this game. Watch. All right, so Berchi, Donato, and Zuccarello for them. We get one from Johnny. We're down 3-1 after 20. We're down 5-2 after 40, and we lose this one 10-6. Yeah, just as I say that, we shit the bed here against the Minnesota Wild. All right, this is they put double digits up on us. Let's look at here at minuses. Who was struggling this one? Kind of spread out. Fourth line, top pairing struggled a little bit. This one might have been on Holtby, who they leave in the net the whole night. 667 save percentage. It's not good there at all for Brain Holtby. I would have brought in Samsonov for at least half that game. So that's, you know what? Let's put in Samsonov against this former team here. Holtby did not have a good night there against Mini. Broke our win streak. Let's put in Ilya Samsonov. Excuse me, for his first official game as a Calgary Flame. See how he does against his former team, the San Jose Sharks. All right. Real life, this would be a perfect matchup because he would have the upper hand on the scouting on his former team. But again, in a game that probably does not matter. But divisional games, nevertheless, we need to make sure we're winning these divisional games. We go back to back with LA as well. All right, first period here. Ooh, they put up 2 goals on Samsonov. Second period, they put up 1. We put up 1. Do we fight back in the third? Fight back in the third, Calgary? No, we don't. 5-2 loss to the San Jose Sharks. In our division as well. Not a good game to lose, a divisional game. We struggle in this one. -2 for that top line, as well as some of our defensive pairings. And Samsonov in his first official game as a starter for the Flames goes 808. Not a good night for him. So we will bring Holtby back in net. It's too bad for Samsonov, but we'll still give him some games to work with a little later here if we have to. Still think he's a good goalie. It's just that's just one showing here. All right. Give Holtby the net back. and we got another divisional game. So we're still back to third in our division, despite having that massive win streak. But we did lose the last 2 games there, and including a divisional game, which kind of probably hurt us. So I think we were second at one point in our division during that little run there. So we want to continue to be up there. We have like a 7-8 point lead there on the Oilers, who are behind us in fourth, but we're a little ways back, 4 points back of the Kings, who we are chasing in this game. All right, so the Kings, like I said, 4 points ahead of us. This is a massive game for us. Separation right here. LA wants separation. We want to close that gap right here. Massive divisional game. Here we go. First period, 1-0 Kings. Second period, 2-2. All right, we fight back here. This game is tied. We need to win this game in regulation in this period here. We need a massive third period from our offense. Come on, Calgary. Come on, come on. Fuck. All right. It's going to say tie going overtime. Both teams pick up a point, but we need to steal this extra point. It sucks that we gave LA a point, but we need this extra point. Come on, Flames. Come on, Flames. Come on, Flames. How about in a shootout? All right, we get it in a shootout, but we do give up a point, so this is disappointing. Especially a team that we're trying to chase and close the standings. Close the gap, excuse me, in the standings. That's not good at all. 9-2-3 wasn't a bad night for Braden Holtby. It's just we couldn't get much going with our offense here in this one, which is unfortunate because we needed this one. All right, 4-3 is the final. We do win it in overtime, or excuse me, in a shootout. But you can see that that doesn't really help us. We're still 3 points back up LA. All right, we got Dallas coming up here, as we're already into March here, about halfway through March. All right, Dallas, Calgary, here we go. We just got to get back to winning games here. So we've won our last one. We got to string together some more wins here. This is the final stretch of the regular season, so we need to make sure we're doing good here. 3-0, that's a perfect start to this game. 4-2, they fight back in this one. Do we hang on in the third? We will. 5-2, 6-2, excuse me, we'll hang on. So that's back to the way we should be playing. A 6-2 win over the Dallas Stars again. Another offensive explosion for our top 2 lines there. And Holtby going back to 9-3-5. So steady in net for Braden Holtby. He's been actually pretty consistent these last month or so, which is good to see. All right, Boston coming up, and then the Nashville Predators. And then we got a divisional game against Edmonton here. All right, first period, 1-1. Boston, 2-1 for us on a goal from Bennett on the PP, and we finish this one off 5-1. It's a hat trick for Sam Bennett. Ovechkin adds a goal, but Sam Bennett on the third line scores a hat trick. I wonder if any of those came on the power play. Actually, it's a 4-point night for Bennett. Beautiful to see. 9-7-1. Really good night there for Braden Holtby. That's good to see. And we beat the Bruins 5-1. That's perfect. Let's keep it going here against Nashville. We're back to winning games the way we should be. So here we go. All right, it's drafting. Let's go, Nashville Predators. All right, we're up to 40 wins on the season as well. All right, second period, we got 1-1 here. Third period, do we hang on? We do. It's a 2-1 win. We'll take it. We won't even look at the standings there. Oliver Shillington scores the game-winning goal, surprisingly, on the third pairing. Let's keep it going here. A divisional game up against Edmonton. Another divisional game against LA. So a couple huge games coming up here. And then Vancouver, Anaheim. We got 4 divisional games in a row here to maybe end off the month of March. What are we down? We're probably down to our final 10 games here. Take a quick look as we head into this divisional stretch. All right, so yeah, we actually have, oh my God, we have 6 divisional games in a row. Excuse me, 5. We got Edmonton, LA, Vancouver, Anaheim, Vegas, and then we got one non-divisional game, and then we finished off the year with 3 more divisional games. 4 more divisional games. So what the hell? Who made this schedule? 5 divisional games, 1 non-divisional game, and then 4 more divisional games. Like 9 of our final 10 divisional games are against Earth. 9 of our final 10 games are divisional games, is what I'm trying to say. So we've got 10 games left, and 9 of them are against our own division. Like, who makes this schedule? That is not even fair. That means literally our season could be, well, will be decided in the next 10 games, but that means we could literally go down to either 8th or 1st or anywhere in between in our division. That is a gong show to end the season. Like, that means that the standings really don't matter right now. This is almost like a new start, a final 10 game little season, if you will, like a mini season to decide the playoffs. Because, I mean, basically, if we have a bad record in these final 10 games, it could put us easily out of the playoffs. But if we have a good record, we could win our division. Like, that's how bizarre these final 10 games are going to be. So, wow, this is going to be fun. So, you know what? Let's get right into it. Let's start this final 10-game stretch where, obviously, 9 of them are against our own division. So, we need to be winning pretty much every game in regulation if we can to secure a playoff spot. Right now, we don't have anything secured in our division. We sit with 87 points. We're not too far back at top spot in our division. We have a nice 7-point cushion on the Vegas Golden Knights, but again, that can disappear easily if we start losing a handful of these games. So yeah, let's see if we can just stay in the top 3 here, but see if we can just make the playoffs. That's all I want to do right now. Get ourselves a playoff spot. So let's keep it going here. Keep it rolling. The good thing is we're red hot right now. Hopi's playing good. Our offense is red hot. Let's see if we can keep it going into these divisional games. So here we go. The first of 10 of our final 10. It comes against the Edmonton Oilers. So here we go. First period. 1-0 for them. Second period. 4-2. Massive second period here for the Flames. 2 goals from Matthew Phillips. Third period, do we hang on? Oh my god, we almost do, but then we let them battle back with 3 straight goals. It's 5-5. This one's going to overtime. How about in a shootout? Fuck, they get it. Holy fuck. All right, not good at all. So a horrible game here. We had this one in the bag after 40 minutes, and we just shit the bed in the third period. 2.9 for Ovechkin and Phillips, but we did not do good in this one. We let them battle back. Claude Giroux and a -2, but I think goaltending hurt us a little bit here as well. Hopi pulled after 36 minutes there, 8-2. Samsonov comes in and doesn't give him much better support, 7-6-9 there for Ilya Samsonov. Excuse me. All right, so we lose the first of our final 10 in our division. That's not good. We got the LA Kings. This one's important because the Oilers, they were below us, not by much, but they were below us by a good 10 points. I mean, that win only makes them, only gives them 78 points, which is still 10 back of us. Still lots of season to go, but that one wasn't maybe as important as this next one in the LA Kings, who we are chasing. We're just 2 points back of the LA Kings, who sit with 90 points. Again, I wish they would leave that standing up there. All right, so yeah, 2 points back of the LA Kings, who sit with 90 points. So this is one of the teams we are fighting with for positioning in the top 3. We need to make sure we're winning this game in regulation. So here we go. Kings and Flames. This is a must-win in regulation. Absolute must-win. Here we go. First period, 3-1 for us. Gaudreau, Zarnik, Monahan. Second period. All right, 4-2 for us. We have to hang on. Have to hang on in the third. Yes, we hang on. All right, that was close. They make it close. They make it a 1-goal game, but we do hang on for the regulation 4-3 win, and that's obviously what we need. So here we go. That's a huge, huge regulation win to close the gap. We now tie them with 90 points. Slightly better night there for Hopi, 8-4-2. All right. All right, so 90 points. That ties us with the Kings. We do have the tiebreaker because they have way more games played than we do. So that's good to see. 90 points. All right, let's keep it going here against Vancouver. All right, Canucks are down bottom, one of the 2 bottom teams in our division. But again, these games still matter because they're still divisional games at the end of the day. Plus, we need all the points we can get right now. It doesn't matter if it's a divisional game or not. We need every point we can get to stay alive in our division. All right, here we go. They get a goal for Pettersson, 1-0 them. Nothing after 40. Huge third period, Calgary. Huge third period. Fuck's sakes. We get shut out 2-0 to one of the worst teams in our division in the Vancouver Canucks. So I won't even look at the stats because offense went absolute radio silence for the first time, it looks like, in this half of the season. And we allow the Canucks to go, to go 2-0. All right, back-to-back games here. I'm wondering if we throw Ilya Samsonov into a game here. We still sit second in our division. The Anaheim Ducks have actually clinched. You know what? They're the team we're chasing for top spot in our division. We're just 2 points back of them. I'm going to leave Holtby in net for this one. This is the game. This is the top 2 teams in our division going at it right now. We need this game in regulation. We possibly could clinch a playoff spot with this game. So I'm going to leave Holtby in net, and let's win that. This is another must-win in regulation. Let's just pray that we get the W in regulation. Come on, Flames. All right, first period, 1-1. McKinnon and Granlund. Second period. Fuck's sakes, 4-2 them. Crap. All right, huge third period, Calgary. I don't suppose we have a huge third period in a must-win game. All right, we shit the bed big time in this one. Wow. All right, so that could be the difference between us winning a divisional title and not. If we don't win our division, this could be the game that we look at in which we lost our division. Not that we, were too worked up about a division crown, but it would have been nice Not a good night at all for Holtby. I wonder if we should have put Samsonov in net. I trusted Holtby. That was not a good night at all. All right, so we got Vegas coming up here. That does drop us back to third in our division and actually allows LA to clinch over us. So again, we have 2 games in hand on the LA Kings, but they do clinch with 92 points. We're still sitting at 90. I think we can still clinch, but this is a massive game here. We are playing the team that is chasing us right now in the standings, in the Vegas Golden Knights. They are 6 points back of us as it stands. We have 1 game in hand, but again, there's still a few games left. If we do not do good and they do good the rest of the way, they could pass us for that final spot in our division, putting us into a wild card spot, which is obviously not good at all. So this is another must-win, a third must-win in the last 4 games here against our own division. This is insane. These games are just insane. All right, so here we go. Must-win in regulation. We have to close the gap on the team that is chasing us. We have to at least solidify a top 3 spot. So here we go. Flames and Vegas. Here we go. First period. All right, 3-2 us. We have to hang on in regulation here. A goal there for Valimaki, Tkachuk, and Gaudreau. Come on, Calgary. Come on, second period. All right, big second period there. An offensive explosion, but we're on the right side of it. 8-4. We have to hang on in the third. We do. They get one more. 8-5. That's a massive regulation win there for the Calgary Flames. Closes the gap a little bit. Again, I don't care about these wild shootout games as long as we're winning them. 3-point night for quite a few guys there. Tkachuk, Monahan, Ovechkin. That second line really good. Top line not bad as well. Dubé, Monahan, McKinnon, excuse me. All right, 8-5-3. Not a good night. So goaltending has dropped off in the last, I want to say, 2-3 games. 3-4 games maybe. Both Samsonov and Holtby have not been playing well, but our offense has kind of been carrying the way. All right. That's a big win. All right, so we have our final non-divisional game of the season here, and it comes against St. Louis. We just need to worry about picking up the 2 points in this one. We do clinch a playoff spot, by the way, so there it is. You can see the X beside our name after that win against Vegas. I thought we might. So 92 points is good enough to clinch in our division in 77 games. So we are in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but now we are just fighting for positioning. So, I mean, we can kind of breathe a little bit sigh of relief, but I still want to kind of see how high we can finish as defending Stanley Cup champions. And we probably want the better playoff matchup. Like, I don't want to be playing the Anaheim Ducks, but we'll see here. Obviously, we won't because we're top 3 in our division, but we will see for playoff positioning. We actually could still finish top in our division, and we're only 2 points out now that I look at it. Tied with Anaheim in games played with 77. 2 games in hand on LA, who also have 94. So we still have a lot of jockeying to do here for position. So let's play this game against the St. Louis Blues. McKinnon also 2 points shy of the 100-point mark. All right. 3-1 for us. Couple power play goals there for Ovechkin. 4-2 for us. He's got a hat trick. And we will end this one 6-4. I wonder if that's good enough to put McKinnon to the 100-point plateau. Where is he? McKinnon. He just got 1 point. All right. 4-point night, though. Excuse me, for Tkachuk. 3-point night for Ovechkin, which is a hat trick there. 2-point night for Monahan, Dubé. A really good night for that second line. Holtby again struggling, 8-7-5. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give Samsonov some of these final games. Now that we have clinched a playoff spot, I want to give Samsonov a little bit of so we can kind of see what he's made of. I'll give him some games to see what he's made of, see if he can maybe possibly come in here. Because Holtby has struggled a little bit in these last handful of games, but overall, Holtby's been pretty good for us. Like I said, hasn't been too much of a problem since the start of the new year. It's just he's struggling these last few games. Let's see what Samsonov can do. Let's see if he can, be a reliable backup like we went and got him for. Because he's definitely better than what we had in Netrovic. We couldn't even put Netrovic into a game. At least we can put Samsonov into some games here. All right, 4-2 over the Canucks after one. 6-2. We will end this one 6-2 final. All right, another 3-point night there for McKinnon, who's obviously over 100 points now. 2 points there for Tkachuk. Gaudreau, looking at goaltending, 9-2-9 for Samsonov. That's what I like to see. So we're going to rest Holtby a little bit at 35 years of age, and we are going to continue to roll Samsonov here back-to-back against his former team. He didn't do good in his first meeting against his former team. Let's see if he can get it done here in the second game against his former team. Coming off his first official win as a starter with the Flames. 1-0 there for us. Ovechkin, 2-0 for us. Hamilton. Beautiful. There it is. It is the shutout for Ilya Samsonov against his former team. That's a much better showing than his first game against his former team. Samsonov shutting out the San Jose Sharks. A 5-point night for Sean Monahan. 3-point night. That second line has been on fire these last few games. 3 points for Dubé. 2 points for Alex Ovechkin. They are unbelievable. 22 save shutout performance for Ilya Samsonov. His first as a Calgary Flame. His second official win as a starter as a Calgary Flame. And it comes against his former team. So let's give Samsonov this game against LA. We are currently top in our division with, I believe, 2 games to go in the regular season. So let's take a final look at these standings here. 98 points is where we sit right now. Looks like the playoffs almost yet but decided in our division, or excuse me, in our conference. There's Winnipeg clinching their division in the Central. Avalanche and Stars have clinched spots in that division as well. Us, Anaheim, and LA, as mentioned, and then right now it's Edmonton and Arizona hanging on to those wild card spots, so possible playoff matchups for us. We're 2 points up right now on the Ducks. We have a game in hand. So the Ducks and Kings each have 1 game left. We are 2 points up. We can still win our division here with just 2 final games here against LA and Arizona. So we will give Samsonov this LA game, and then we will give probably Braden Holtby the final game against the Arizona Coyotes heading into the playoffs. So here we go. LA and then Arizona, and our season is done, and we head to the Stanley Cup playoffs. All right, first period, 2-0 for us. Ovechkin back-to-back, 2-1 for them. 2-1 for us. We finished this one 3-2. So third straight win in a row for Ilya Samsonov. So that's some good confidence for him, and good news for us going into the playoffs now that we know Samsonov can get it done as a starter. 9-7-4, really good night. They actually brought Holtby in for a little bit of that game. I don't know why. Hopefully there was no injury, but that's good to see there for Ilya Samsonov. So let's get up to this Arizona game. We have 100 points now in our division, and that is good enough to clinch. So there it is. 2024-25 Pacific Division champion, the Calgary Flames. 100 points there in 81 games. We have a chance to pad it. You know what? Let's just leave Samsonov in net. We have a chance to pad it here with 2 more points, but we do finish as the top team in our division, despite how chaotic this season was for the Calgary Flames. The fact that we were dead last in our division and one of the worst teams in the NHL at the halfway point is just absolutely bizarre. And we go on to have an incredible second half and not only make the Stanley Cup playoffs, but win our division. 9-5-7, by the way, there for Samsonov in the final game of the regular season. And Nemeth has been injured, though, in our final game. Why does he have to get injured in the final fucking game of the season? All right, it's a wrist sprain. His estimated time of return is the 15th. All right, we'll fix those lines in the next episode. So we do finish with 102 points to win our division, and obviously make the Stanley Cup playoffs the most important thing as defending champs. We have 1 goal here in what is our final season. That is to win back-to-back as Stanley Cup champions. So we will obviously begin that in the next episode, which will be our 50th episode of this franchise mode. But like I said, it could also be our last one if we have a first-round exit, because as soon as we lose in this year's Stanley Cup playoffs, our franchise mode comes to an end, as our tenure as GM of the Calgary Flames will come to an end with the conclusion of this season. So hopefully it goes for at least 4 more episodes, or I guess there would only be 4 more episodes, which would be 4 playoff series, which would get us to the Stanley Cup. So hopefully we have 4 more episodes, but it could be anywhere between 1 to 4 more episodes left in this franchise mode. Hopefully it's the furthest, I should say, in 4. But it's nice to see we've turned our season around and came back with a 102 finish. Actually, let's quickly look before we end this episode off, so we don't have to do it in the next episode. Let's just look at where we finished in terms of everything. Stats and then player stats. So like I said, top team in our division with 102, good enough for first. We actually finished as the 6th best team in the entire NHL. That's not bad, as defending Stanley Cup champions. Goals for per game. We finished as the best team at goals for per game. Again, most of the season we were in the bottom 10. We absolutely skyrocketed in goals for from a bottom 10 team to the number 1 team in the NHL in goals for. Let's see how much our goals against improved. Hopefully it improved a bit. All right, still down there, bottom 8th worst in the league in goals against. We'll take it. It's a massive improvement from dead last where we were all season long. PP looks like this. 2nd best power play in the league, the best in the Western Conference at 26.4%. Again, that was a bottom 10 pretty much all year long. Did the PK improve at all? No, it did not. It stays dead last. The worst PK in the NHL. So again, I don't know what we can do. The fact that we lost Nemeth for a little bit of time there to start the Stanley Cup playoffs is definitely going to hurt that as well. Not much we can do right now. We're just winning games the way we are. Our PK has just been horrible all year long. We weren't constructed to be a PK team, apparently. I don't know. Final look here at the regular season stats and what is our final year as GM of the Calgary Flames. Nathan MacKinnon, who plays his 2nd straight season for the Calgary Flames, 3rd straight season. What was it here? Let's go down here. MacKinnon plays his 2nd straight season. So he put up 100 points last year, was one of our MVPs all season long and into the playoffs. He puts up 102 points this year. So he puts up 42 goals last year, 41 this year, 100. So very consistent for Nathan MacKinnon. First time, by the way, in his entire career that he cracked the 100-point plateau was the last 2 years he spent with us. Never did it with Colorado. Came close, 99, 95, 94 there, 92. But for back-to-back years, he hits the 100-point plateau. 102 for us, like I said, 61 assists, 41 goals. Once again, he's one of our MVPs all season long. This is why we went out and got this guy in the free agency. We paid a lot to get him. He's making $12.5 million per year, but it's definitely paying off. Probably one of the best players in the entire National Hockey League, with all due respect to Nathan MacKinnon. 12.3, still has 6 years left, but it's definitely worth every penny because he has been the franchise player that we went out to get him as when we got him in free agency 2 summers ago. Second place on our team in terms of points is Johnny Gaudreau, 88 points there in 82 games. Excuse me, I want to go like this. I just want to look here. In his time here with the Calgary Flames, he's been pretty decent. He won a scoring title all the way back here in one of our first years. Actually, our first year as GM, he won the scoring title with 51 goals, 87 points there, 75 there, over 30 goals there, 79 points. Had a bit of a step back here in this year, 23 goals and 63 points, but then picked it back up, got to the 80-point plateau again last year, 29 goals, 80 points, and this year he hits almost 40 goals and puts up 88 points. So 50 assists, 38 goals, good enough for 88 points. One of his best totals as one of his best seasons, I should say, when we were a tenure of the Calgary Flames. Actually, his best point total, because he goes one more point than the first year he was with us. He put up 87 points in that first year, but put up 51 goals. This year he puts up 88 points. So this is technically his best year in terms of offensive production as during our tenure as GM of the Calgary Flames. Plus 5 as well. Matthew Tkachuk, really picking it up. Probably his best year with 26 goals and 50 points, or excuse me, let's go. Oh my god, I wish they would show the stats on the screen. All right, excuse me, 82 points, I should say. 56 assists, 26 goals there for Matthew Tkachuk. Is that his? Yeah, that's by far his best total. He put up 21 points in that first year, not 21 points, excuse me, 51 points for us that year. Should be looking by point column. 51 points back-to-back to start off our tenure. Put up 46 points, 48, 60, but then puts up 82 points. Actually, his career high, he put up 77 points in 18-19, but his career high comes this year with 82 points. Again, this is bizarre considering how bad our players were offensively in the first half, that they picked it up, and now they're all having career highs here in the second half of the season. Incredible. Monahan also putting up 80 points this season. He actually put up 83 points in our first season with him, so not his best career total over the how many years we had him, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and over the 6 seasons that we were GM of the Calgary Flames, he puts up his second best total. Puts up 61 assists though on that second line as a really, really solid number 2 center behind MacKinnon. Ovechkin goes 72 points in his second year as a Calgary Flame. So into the 2 years that he was a Flame, that's obviously his best. I mean, he only played 18 games last year coming over the trade deadline, but his first full season as a Calgary Flame, I should say, puts up 41 goals at the ripe age of 39. What did I say? This guy could still do it. I thought he would be putting up 30 goals around this age. I knew he wasn't going to be putting 50 goals, but the fact that he still hit the 40-goal plateau and 72 points, that's incredible. I mean, he had some good line mates to play with, but when we went and got this guy, it was definitely a gamble because of his age, but I knew he was just that elite. He's the greatest goal scorer of all time, and it shows at 39 years of age, he still can hit the 40-goal plateau. Hopefully, one of the greatest players to ever play the game and the greatest goal scorer of all time will finish his career for the Calgary Flames, and so far he's doing it in good fashion right now. 41 goals. Hopefully he can win a second back-to-back Stanley Cup, or his third cup of his career with the Flames this year. Claude Giroux, his first year as a Calgary Flame, he puts up 59 points, 27 goals. That's actually really good third-line production on Claude Giroux. Like, the fact that he almost hit 30 goals as a third liner, and again, he's also at 37 years of age. He's dropped off quite a bit since his heydays as one of the top players with the Philadelphia Flyers. He's definitely nowhere near that anymore. He's a depth player, but he still put 27 goals and 59 points. That's incredible. Look how many guys we have over 50 points. Dylan Dubé, who's one of our youngsters, believe it or not, at 26 years of age, still hits 50 points in 81 games, just 12 goals, but 50 points on that second line. Dougie Hamilton, our top blue liner, who we brought back for his second tour as a Calgary Flame, 42 points, 9 goals there for Dougie Hamilton. Maybe thought a little bit more offense out of him, especially in the goal category, but still, that's not bad. Sam Bennett, 35 points here. Yusuf Valimaki, 35 points on that top pairing. It definitely hurt his stats losing his defensive partner in Noah Hannafin. 35 points, 7 goals there for him. Jordan Eberle, his first year as a Flame, 34 points there as a depth player. That's kind of what I thought Claude Giroux would be around. Would be like 18 goals, 16 assists for 34 points. But no, Claude Giroux won 27 goals for almost 60 points. That's a huge, huge surprise. He did play power play and everything as well. Rasmus Anderson, 28 points there. Josh Manson, 27 points. And then onward, Phillips, Zarnik, and Wilson, Shillington, Patrick Nemeth in his few games that he played, and then Rakto Gudas. So that's just a quick look there at our final regular season as a Calgary Flame and our players. We obviously have a very elite offensively built team, and it shows with these stats. It just wasn't showing through the first half of the season, but it does end the way we want it to, and it does end the way it should, with all of these players putting up career highs and putting up elite offensive numbers. Finally, let's just quickly look at our goaltending here. Braden Holtby, again, this is tough because we can't tell because, well, I mean, we can dive into their stats here, but those numbers overall don't show everything because they played, both goalies played, obviously, half the season with other teams, but 38 games for Braden Holtby. He does go 901, so his numbers do drop off a little bit, 291 goals against, 901, but hey, that's a good, look at that record, 27-7-4. 27-7-4 through 38 games with the Flames. That is incredible at 35 years of age. Incredible for Braden Holtby to come over and take over the net like that. Numbers weren't the best at 901, 291, could have been better, but still, it's that winning record that you see right there, 27-7-4 through 38 games. Very impressed with that. It definitely sucked, and it was a gamble trading away Jordan Binghamton, who won us the Vezina a couple of years ago, could have won us the Conn Smythe last year, was such a huge part for us, but at the end of the day, it definitely paid off. Samsonov wasn't maybe as good as I thought through the 7 games that he played in this episode for us, but still 5-1-1. Again, really good record, and actually 9-2-5, not bad. 2-1-6, he picked it up in those final few games, so actually maybe he did do better than I expected. Again, he was 9-1-3 through 52 games at San Jose, comes over and plays 7 games as a backup for us, and puts up a 9-2-5, so that's some good numbers going into the playoffs, knowing that we have a backup that can, put up those type of numbers and continue to win, but I think, well, obviously, Holtby is our starter, and we'll roll with him, but I really like this tandem. It's too bad we didn't have this all season long. Could you imagine how good we would have been if we had a tandem like this, and if our offense was playing the way they did all season long? We would have been setting NHL records for being one of the better teams of all time. So at the end of the day, we get it done. Like I said, it doesn't matter. We are the top team in our division. We are we the top? No, we're not the top team in our conference, are we? No. Jets get 105 points, so we're the second team in our conference, top team in our division, 6th best team in the NHL. Incredible turnaround. Probably one of the biggest comeback seasons ever. Probably the biggest comeback season of Flames franchise history, and probably one of the biggest in NHL history, considering we were pretty much dead last at the halfway point. It kind of reminds me of the St. Louis Blues in 2019, who went on to win the Stanley Cup after being dead last around the halfway point as well, and then they go on to win the Cup. But we went on to turn our season completely around. Hopefully we can win a Cup as well. So that will do it for the final regular season episode of our franchise mode. We will pick up the Stanley Cup playoffs, our final run as GM of the Calgary Flames, trying to win our final Stanley Cup in back-to-back years, and what could be one of our final episodes. We'll pick it up next in episode 50, our 50th episode, with the first round against whoever we're going to play. Let's actually see who we're going to play before I end this episode off. Let's advance a day. Let's see who our opponent is going to be. It's either going to be Vegas or Chicago, I believe, are the 2 wildcard teams. So let's just advance one more day here. All right, NHL season is over, and it looks like it will be the Chicago Blackhawks. All right, so round 1 versus the Chicago Blackhawks. Episode number 50 of our franchise mode is the next episode. So we'll pick up the rest of the stuff in episode 50.